I'm on my morning mental. I got some good news and I got some bad news. I'm on my morning mental. And I got some good news and I got some bad news. Let me say it one more time for everybody who's not really listening because you're just spectating. I'm on my morning mental. And I got some good news and I got some bad news. The good news is that we are all still children of the Most High. When I say the Most High, I'm speaking of Yahuwah. I'm speaking of Yahweh. I'm speaking of a name that cannot be pronounced. I'm speaking of the Tetragrammaton. I'm speaking of the Elohim. I'm speaking of Jehovah. I'm speaking of Jehovah Jireh, Jehovah Nisi. I'm speaking of El Shaddai. I'm speaking of the Creator. Whatever name you have given him, other than the name that was handed down since days of old, whatever modifications you've made to make yourself feel like you are equal, I'm speaking of. I'm not speaking of a religion that was constructed to control people. I'm not speaking of a certain flavor of those religions that you created. Because the last time I checked, I didn't see the House of Episcopalian on the Rock of Gibraltar by the Baptist Convention next to the Street of the Holy Hands that smacked the back of the cross. I don't see that nowhere. I'm speaking of those of us who are children of the Most High. That's the good news, that we're still children. The good news is only his children hear his voice. When I call my dog, he comes. But if you call him, he will attack you and he probably will try to kill you because he only knows my voice. So I don't expect everyone to come when I speak. Only those who are children, true children of the Most High. The good news is we're still children of the Most High. And the good news is we are still here. We didn't wake up in the middle of the night to a tremendous roar and a horrible rumble and crumbling earth and flashing skies and raining fire, smoke, people screaming and death everywhere, and the world as you know it completely disintegrating around you as we succumb to some horrible disaster that we had no idea was coming. Something that no one, and I mean no one, will escape from. That didn't happen. It didn't happen. I'm on my morning mental. The good news is we are still children of the Most High, and we are still here. That's the good news. The good news is also that some of us have become so connected that when we don't get anything that comes down the pipeline of that connection, we feel an emptiness in our spirit. We feel an emptiness in our soul. We feel an emptiness and a yearning in our personality and in our day. We feel like we're incomplete unless we hear something that comes down the pipeline of that connection. The good news is there are still those who are subscribed to that connection. The good news is there are those who've had their connections suspended for lack of payment, or they've had their connection rerouted to a imitation service, or some of us have had our subscriptions unnecessarily blocked because of a mistake in the office above. But the good news is we still here. We're still children of the Most High. All praises to the Most High. And that he still lets us in the classroom, and our subscription is still good. The good news is that no matter where you are in life right now, no matter what you are going through right now, whether you are having the time of your life and you're up on a mountaintop and you can't believe how good it has gotten, or whether you're in the valleys below and you're deep down in the dark and you don't even know how you got there, especially when you were on the mountaintop the other day. But now today, everything appears to be dark and everything appears to be falling apart, and everything that can go wrong is going wrong. And nobody has a word for you to pick you up, to help get you back up to the mountaintop. No matter where you are still a child of the Most High. And you're exactly where the Most High wants you to be at this time in your life. Because what he is doing, he is either preparing you for something to come, or he is testing you for something to come. There's a difference. There is a difference. I had a conversation with a young person and they said, I'm wise. I have wisdom. They say youth is wasted on me. Youth is wasted on the young. I don't believe that. I believe that youth is something that if you take care of it from the first day you get it, you can hold on to it for a long time in life. You take care of yourself and yourself will take care of you. Let's be real, people. However, when they said they were wise, I let them know that wisdom is something that is the accumulation of years of experience. Y'all remember, there was a certain king had a conversation with the Creator. He had been so obedient. He had been such a good person. He had so much love in his heart for the Creator. The Creator said, look, you've been on your job. I mean, looking at everybody around you who's half stepping, but you are the star of the class. You're going to get a star on the wall. So let me tell y'all what I mean by that. People don't know what children today. I don't know if y'all know what star on the wall is, but let me break that down to you. When I was in school, teachers, real teachers who cared about us becoming critical thinkers, who wanted us to go on to be inventors, doctors, lawyers, scientists, astronomers, architects, poets, who actually used to tell us what our dreams was. Real teachers that to this day, when we look back, we are so happy that they took the time out of their own life, that they got joy out of planting seeds of positivity into the minds of young children. Black, white, purple, yellow. They enjoyed teaching. One of my teachers used to do this thing where what she would do is every time that we took a test, or every time she asked you to read in class, or every time she asked you to go up to the board, which I need to talk about, because there's an exercise behind that. Every time you did that and you did exceptionally well, you got a star next to your name on a wall. There was a wall in the room and everyone's name was on it. Y'all pay attention. It's a setup. Everybody's name was on this wall, on this list that she had put together. And there were stars that she would put next to your name based on your performance of that day. And they had different color stars. There was gold star, red star. Y'all remember purple star, blue star, black star, white star. And every star had a meaning. But if you were the smart kid, or if you had impressed the teacher, then you got a gold star. If you were a genius, you got the white diamond star. If you did okay, you was all right, you was average, and then you got the yellow star. If you needed some work, you coming along, but we appreciate the effort, you got the blue star. Now, this is why kids today sometimes are jacked up when it comes to things that they're taught. But if you screwed up, or you just, y'all know what I'm trying to say. I don't want to insult nobody's esteem here, but if you screwed up, you got the black star. You got the black star. If you straight up failed or you didn't belong in the class because you had a learning disability, then you got no star. You got transferred out of the classroom. And she would do this every day. And it got to the point where the children, every day after class, would rush to the board to look at the stars because the lines of stars were getting long. And you could look at the stars and you could tell who was learning and who was not, and who wasn't going to be with us too much longer. See, back when I was in school, they didn't pass you on just to get you out of their classroom. They put you out of their classroom and put you somewhere that was commensurate to your intelligence. Sometimes you can be too smart for your own good, especially when you don't have wisdom. Wisdom comes from time. Wisdom comes from experience. How many of you have ever gone to apply for a job or apply for, an apartment or a condo or whatever you're doing? And there's a question that they always ask you. There's 3 categories. Are you single? Are you married? Or there's another category. Are you divorced? And most people will look at those 3 areas and be like, well, hell, I ain't never been married, so I ain't never been divorced, so I'm single, so let me go ahead and write that down. Here's the interesting part where wisdom comes into play. If you check that you're single, what that tells the person who's reading your application is that you have no experience with being in a covenant, a legally binding contract that you can't walk away from just because you are in your emotions. That is what it means. So it means that you probably good at taking care of yourself. But if shit gets deep, you're not going to know how to handle a situation that you can't walk away from. I don't mean walk away from physically. You can go get in your car, get pissed, pack your bags and go ahead and leave and talk about, I'm done with this. I'm going to see you. I ain't putting up with you. I don't like the way you treat me. I don't think blah, 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 blah. You can do all that. Hop in your car, drive completely across the country, go knock on the door. Your mom's open the door. What's wrong? Oh, I can't believe this is some boo, boo, boo. And you sitting there. And the next day you get a phone call from your other half because you're still married. Married means you are joined as one and you can't just walk out. You can walk out physically, but they still got your ass on paper. You've never dealt with that before. Then you don't know what it's like emotionally, spiritually, or physically. You don't. So stop. I can't stand people who ain't never been married trying to talk to people who've been married for real about marriage. Oh, girls, don't get married. You don't. That's like telling somebody, don't drive a car. Because if you drive a car, all of how long you been driving? Oh, I ain't never drove. But let me tell you, don't you ever, whatever you do, shut up and sit down. You're in the first category. The second category means not only have you persevered through all the BS, but you were brave enough, bold enough, committed enough, devoted enough, loving enough, taking a chance enough, trusting enough, setting yourself up enough, sharing enough, and all those above to join with another person and then lock that agreement in the eyes of the Creator and proceed to walk and promise that you're going to put up with every high, low, sideways, dips and snips that comes along in life. And when it's all said and done, y'all still gonna be together. You all are married. You are joined. You are sealed at the hip. When you talking to one, you talking to the other. You can't go ask one something and then think because you don't like the answer, you can run and go talk to somebody and talk to the other half and get a different answer. If you do, they're not one. They know that you are not afraid of commitment. They know that you are willing to step into a cage that you cannot get out of easily. They know you're not afraid of a long-term commitment that will require you to give up not only everything that you consider to be mine, but and make it become ours, but also to put yourself in the most precarious position, because once you are married to someone, once you share your life with another person, once you share your family, your past, your religion, your job, your friendship circle, your dirty secrets and everything else, once you put your life in another person's hands, y'all don't realize how bold you got to be to argue with someone and then go to sleep around them and not expect them to do something to you. Once you've gotten to the point where you know you can trust someone and they can trust in you, when someone accepts you for all of the imperfections that you have and believes in your dreams and hopes, when y'all get to that point and you're willing to take that risk, that's putting a lot on the table. That tells us a lot about your character. I'm on my morning mental. But when you're divorced, it's a different type of animal. You have to be careful when you're dealing with someone who checks the divorced box. Because a person who is divorced has to be counted separately because they have something that single people don't have. They have something that married people don't have. They've been there, got the t-shirt, came home, and got the paperwork to prove that not only are they not afraid of commitment, not only did they take the jump, but that they came out of the other side and they're much wiser for the better. So you can't run up on them playing them same silly ass games that you did when you were single, because they know what that looks like. And you also can't come in trying to treat them like you're all together and you're going to bring all your craziness to the table because they're going to look at you like that's why I got rid of the last idiot. No, they're very wise. And that's why they have a separate category. Can I teach on my morning mental this morning? There is somebody listening to me this morning that needs to hear this. And I'm going to give it to you straight with no chaser. Wisdom comes from experience, not from what you assume or how many books you've read or who you talk to. And it doesn't come from whoever is in your family. Well, my parents been married for all these years. This is true, but you haven't. I got some good news and some bad news. And the good news is those of us who are the children of the Most High, no matter where you are, whether he has you on the mountaintop right now, enjoying the ride, or he got you down in the valley, giving you some experiences, they're all designed to make you a better person. I saw a story overseas. There was a young man who said he wanted to do something for his country. He went out and he trained real hard. And he studied the films of all of his contemporaries, his competitors. And he said, you know what? I can do that. I can do better than that. So he went out and he dove into this particular endeavor, and sure enough, he became the world champion. He woke up one morning realizing he was the champion of what he said he was going to do. He wasn't just doing it. He was the champion. Everywhere he went, people bowed down at his feet saying, you are the champion. He was on cloud nine. This was one of those people who was not afraid of commitment and hard work. He was the champion, and his whole country lifted him up. He was also married. So once again, this is a family man, committed man, not afraid of commitment and getting in there and persevering. Grand rising to everybody. I'm on my morning mental. But while he was married, he broke one of the cardinal rules of being married. You see, marriage in the Western society mandates that you only have one wife, that you are intimate with one person, that you share your heart with one person, and you expect them to do the same. No strings attached, no conditions, no if, no quid pro, no if I do this, you do this. He was one of those people. That's the expectation. Instead, like a lot of people find out, once you become a champion, once you begin to rise above the rest and attain visibility, once you think you're on the mountaintop, if you forget to stay focused on the Most High, you will find yourself in a position where you're going to be tested. And the cost of being tested is you will lose the mountaintop and find yourself in the valley. So even though this man was a champion at what he chose to do, he also made a commitment to the Most High to go into covenant and be the husband of a woman who stood by him while he struggled to get them to the mountaintop. When you're on the mountaintop, everybody sees you. When you're on the mountaintop, people want to come talk to you. When you're on the mountaintop, people want to touch you. When you're on the mountaintop, some people don't even care about you. They just want to be on the mountaintop so much that they'll do any and everything to get next to you because they're not interested in you. They're interested in the source of your power. I wasn't going to do this, but let me go ahead and teach real quick. Can I give y'all this one real quick? I got to do this real quick. And I'm not going to be here before y'all long because I got some housekeeping to do, but I told you I got some good news and some bad news. But I have to teach this real quick. A lot of people in the slave master's church, whenever they teach you, notice they teach you as if you're a child and you're stupid. So they teach you the same stories over and over again because it's brain conditioning. But there's a story in the Holy Scriptures where they talk about, y'all know this story, Samson and Delilah. Y'all know the story about Samson and Delilah. And for those of y'all who don't, I'll give it to you real quick. Samson was an anointed individual who had awesome strength that was given to him by the Creator. The jealous people, the people who wanted to kill Samson, the people who wanted to bring Samson down because he was the guardian. He was the one that would come out. These people, they conspired to get at him, as we say. And they found out that no man could get at him. So they found any man's weakness if he's a true man, and that is a good woman. Well, they couldn't find a good woman. They found a woman. Her name was Delilah. And let's go ahead and be real, my brothers. Delilah was bad. But look, that was physical. And there are a lot of people who look physically one way, but inside they're completely something else. There'll be a divorce that don't fall for a big butt and a smile. And I see a whole lot of y'all on your way to the plastic surgeon and the dentist, but you are not stopping by to put anything in your soul or in your mind. So you show up, as we say, with the lights on and nobody's home, or the engine's running, but nobody's behind the wheel. And we stay away from people like you. And Delilah may have been fine as all get out, but her mind was as rotten and as dark as my shirt. So she was approached by the enemies. You know, hey, check this out. We're trying to find a way to get next to Jay. I'm going to use me because y'all get offended when I talk about you. So they find Jay's type. They find somebody that they think Jay is going to fall for, and they give them a mission. And why would somebody take this mission? They would take the mission because they have their own agenda too. And in this particular case, they never talk about this part of the story. So I'm going to use this as my example. Delilah got next to Samson. Yes, she did. And I'm going to keep it 100 with you. I'm not going to be all sweet and obey the lines and try to stay all prudish like they try to do, because they act like that the world doesn't have an underbelly and a dark side. You want to talk about pimps, hoes, and hustlers, but you don't want to talk like the pimp, hoes, and hustlers when the pimp, hoes, and hustlers is the one that need to hear the message. So I got to talk like the pimp, hoes, and hustlers if y'all don't mind, okay? And if you're too young to understand this, then I need you to go and step out of the room for a second, because it's grown folks' time on the morning mental. But if you think you can handle it and your mama and daddy say, no, you sit there because this is what you need to hear, then you put your earpiece in a little deeper. If you own your job and you don't want to offend nobody, you turn it down just a little bit. And if you laying next to that joker right now that's guilty of what I'm about to say, you turn your back on him right now and curl up with your earpiece and your phone in the morning mental, because I know somebody came this morning to hear some good news for the bad news. And here's where it comes down. They always talk about how Delilah got next to Samson, and while he was so wrapped up in her that they caught him and they burned his eyes out and they wanted. But the truth is they jump over something important. Can I give this to y'all real quick? We on the morning mental. Think about these as you go through your day. There are some people in this world, and Delilah was one of them. She wasn't interested in Samson. She didn't care about Samson. Matter of fact, she didn't even care about the men who sent her to get next to him. She was only interested in one thing, as Lauryn Hill would say. She was interested in the source of his power. You see, there are people who will get next to you, praise you, be all into you, when the truth is they're only seeking the source of your power. Once they know that, they have no further use for you. They now have what they want because they want to be you. They want what you have. They didn't deserve it. It wasn't given to them. They didn't put in the work. They weren't given a vision. They weren't touched by the Most High. They didn't hit the lottery. They didn't put up with that crazy joker you married to. They just see the cream of the crop on the other side. They don't know the hell and high water you went through to fix up your marriage. They don't know how many miscarriages you had to get over psychologically for you to have those children with this person. They don't know everything that's on the back end. They don't know what it took to be you. They just see the other side. You see, let me say this real quick. Husbands, don't nobody want your wife but you. Wives, don't nobody want your husband but you. You married him. But a lot of people only see the end result. They don't see the work that went into it. So they just want the finished result. They don't realize that you got a sponsor. They don't realize that they're looking at the other half of a two-party machine. They don't realize that you are a child of the King. and they only see you. They don't see the king behind you. I've heard in the last few weeks the most ignorant statement that I've ever heard in my life, and that is people who have said, I support the movement, but I don't support the leadership. I've heard people say, I want the organization, but I don't want its leader. I've heard people say, if he would just step away and let us take it from here. But they fail to realize you didn't build this. I did. You weren't given the solution. I was. You haven't been able to figure out how to motivate millions. I did. So you cannot separate me from that which he gave me to accomplish. All you can do is either go with it or go home. Period. There is no in between. Delilah wanted to know what his source of his power was. So while she was doing everything to distract him, and if you read the scriptures, it says that she had her head on his lap. She had her head on his lap. That was a polite way. Whoever rewrote the Bible, it was a polite way of saying she had his attention. Now, brothers and sisters, let's be grown for a second. If I'm sitting on the couch with you and you got your head on my lap and I'm so into you that I can hear people sneaking in to get me, what do you think was going on? Well, we're going to leave it at that, grown folks. But whatever it was, Samson let his guard down and they got him. And while she had her head on his lap, she asked him, what is the source of your power? And some of us get so caught up in the superficial. Some of us get so caught up in appearances. Some of us get so caught up in the smooth words and the flattering lines. Some of us get so caught up in the fakeness. We get caught up in the fake eyes, the fake eyelashes, the fake eyebrows, the fake wig, the fake lipstick, the fake high heels. Some of us get caught up in the body implants. Some of us get caught up in the fake lies about the job, the fake dreams, the fake this is what I'm doing. Some of us get caught up in the fakeness so much that when the realness sets in, not only do we realize that all that was fake, but your source of power was revealed to them, and now they've taken from you or put you in a position where you are no longer on the mountaintop in the sunshine. You are down in the valley trying to figure out how I got here. Or you'll find some people that will push you to destroy everything around you without you even realizing that you're destroying everything around you. Why do I tell you this? Because a person like this gentleman who was who was a champion, was one of those people who was a happily married man, or he was married. He fell for a Delilah. Oh, yes, he did. He fell for the Delilah. She got next to him because he was a champion. But as we all know, what's done in the dark, not sometimes, always comes to the light. And when it does, you got to eat that. You got to wear that. You have to take that walk. They like to call it the perp walk. I'm on my morning mental. When you get arrested, everybody want to see the perp walk. I want to see the police officers that shot and killed Breonna Taylor arrested. And I want to see the perp walk. Put them in handcuffs like y'all do us and walk them on out and put cameras in their faces. I want to see the police officer that killed George Floyd. I want to see the perp walk. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Everybody want to see the perp walk, because when it's you, they get the perp walk. The perp is short for perpetrator for y'all who don't know. The perp walk. Who did it? The perp walk. I wasn't going to say this, but I got to slide it in. Big shout out to the Torch Man. Y'all seen the video. His perp walk should have been with flames. They should have had a couple of bros with some flames talking about they're bringing them in. Light up a flame. You know what I'm saying? As soon as they brought him in the lockup, every officer should have stood up and put their lighters up. This man who was a champion stepped out on his wife. Yes, he did. He committed adultery. He violated his covenant. He was unfaithful to the ones that he should have been faithful to. So that is between him, his wife, and the Creator, because that's who the covenant is between. It is not between him, his wife, the Creator, and all of y'all. It is not. Unfortunately, we have become a society where we believe our opinion matters in people's lives that we're not living. Let me say it again. We actually believe that our opinion matters in people's lives that we are not a part of. Don't nobody care about your opinion. Y'all hold on a second. I'm getting a message here from the Most High. Okay, I can understand that. Interesting. They telling me my time is short this morning, but I'm not ready to go nowhere. I got something I want to unpack. I didn't know it was going to take this long. I'm on my morning mental. So let me ask y'all real quick. Y'all want me to keep going, or should I go ahead and pack it up now because they telling me that we got things to do? Let me poll the room. I don't want to hold you too long. I know y'all got things to do. If you want me to keep going, say keep going. Let me look at this. Let me look. I'm looking at the comments right now. Let me see if y'all ready to keep going, or should I go ahead and pack it up? Let me see here. I'm looking. I'm reading. By the way, if today is your birthday and nobody has told you happy birthday, happy born day, let us celebrate the day you came into the realm. Should I keep going? It looks like y'all don't want me to keep going. In that case, I am going to continue this at a later time, and we will pick it up again, because apparently y'all got better things to do than to listen to me on the morning mental. But I understand, because as I can tell, a lot of you all are really not here for this. You're just here so you can keep an eye on what's going on. You don't even know how to stay away from fakeness. You cannot distinguish between the real. Let me say this. There are no other Grandmaster Jay pages on Instagram. If you're following any other page that says Grandmaster Jay, you're an idiot, because you're following somebody that is a fake. And for you to be in my face and then go be in a fake person's face, I don't do two-faced people. So if you're following any of those pages, get the hell off my page. I am not on any Instagram page other than this page right here. And if you don't get that, I'm going to say it again. I'm checking every membership, and I will block you permanently from this page. I know Instagram is blocking people. I know they are. People are hitting me in my inbox saying, did you block me? I ain't blocked nobody yet. So if you got blocked, it wasn't me. People are saying that their notifications aren't working. Y'all know I've been shadow banned for months. You're not getting notifications because apparently they want you to pay attention. So for all my real students, for all of those that really need to hear this word, for those that are here because they're committed to this marriage, for those who are in this love affair with me and black folks that ain't going nowhere, I'm going to leave and I'm going to see who's committed, because I'm going to come back. Now, you got friends that didn't get this first session. You let them know he's on. What are you doing? Stop following fake pages. Like, you too damn stupid to realize I don't talk like that, would never say nothing like that. People are now attacking everything we're doing, from trying to unify ourselves, to being liberated, to trying to finance our own black army, anything. I gave y'all the formula so that you could back up the black army, and I'm sitting here watching people who ain't did nothing. You still buying Happy Meals. You still out here spending money on weed, women, and wine. But you can't stop buying, drop a couple of cans of change for us to finance all these brothers and sisters that's been paying out of their pocket for the NFAC. But you always talking about how you down for the movement. I told y'all what we was gonna do and gave you an invoice, and you niggas is late on your bills. I'm not one of these cats out here trying to finesse you out your loot. There's people out here that's ready to come out and act out and dumb out, but they can't because times is hard. Y'all following fakery, y'all following gossip, y'all following everything but the right thing. So I'm gonna walk out the door right now because we're having an argument in the marriage. I may come back, and when I do, let's see if y'all are here, because right now I don't have time for the games, like you don't either. Somebody out there needs a word of support right now. Somebody done lost a loved one that needs to know that it's going to be all right. Somebody out there knows that he don't put no more on you than what you can bear. And if you can't bear it, then get out of the kitchen, because somebody right now needs to hear these words on the morning mental. I got some good news and I got some bad news. I will see you in 5 minutes, maybe 10. Let's see how y'all act. And I'm out this piece. Shalom.